in the U.S. medical system, we are taught a very strong sense of responsibility for the outcomes of our patients. And that's not a bad thing, right? It's good to be responsible and diligent and take care of your patients. But sometimes that sense of responsibility becomes inflated to the point where you really do feel like you are responsible for whether your patient lives and dies. And that is a delusion of grandeur, to say I really am responsible for whether my patient lives or dies. I have some role to play, but there are, of course, God is ultimately sovereign in the life and death of our patients. But just imagine a young healthcare missionary who has all the idealism of practicing in the United States and all the idealism of going to the world to really take care of needy people. Like my pediatrician friend, who went to a really difficult place where he was the only pediatrician for who knows how many 100 miles. He was the only one in a region. And when he arrived, it was in the middle of a malaria epidemic. And he was working in a hospital that had 100 pediatric beds and 200 pediatric patients in those 100 beds. And he said he was losing an average of 15 children a day, running from one emergency to another. As soon as he would finish with one, he would be called to another child who was dying or not breathing. And most of the children who he ran to did not make it because they were that seriously ill. And by the time they went into cardiac arrest, they were that ill. And he had so little in the way of resources to deal with it. He lost more children in one day than he had lost in his entire 3-year residency in the United States. So again, he goes to do good in Jesus' name, and he encounters that situation that he didn't build that situation. He didn't ask for it. He had no idea what he was getting himself into, and he felt that deep sense of personal responsibility for the outcome of his patients. Well, the outcome of that is predictable. It's just you can't operate like that of having that sense of responsibility and that much loss. But that's part of our role in the Longevity Project, is to help healthcare missionaries recognize or have a better sense of what their role really is when they're going to the field, and to have a better idea of what they're going to encounter, to tell people about these sorts of difficulties ahead of time, coach them when they get there, give them opportunities to come away from the work from time to time, to again regroup, talk about this with people who have done the same thing before and who get it, and be able to provide more resources for folks to be able to continue and thrive in the field even in the midst of those sorts of difficulties.